Hello, everyone, and welcome to this LEPSL Facebook Live. Today, we are diving into our LEPSL 540 Discussion Board MVP interview. Thank you all so much for joining us today, whether you are here with us live or watching the replay. And with that, I'll kick things over to Dr. Fritsvold, your academic director, to introduce our MVP.
Sarah, thanks so very much for the kind words here, and everyone out there in the LE community who's joining us. We really appreciate the time to be able to have this mission critical conversation in front of everybody here. This is one of the most rewarding things that I get to do in my role. It's to interview and get to know students a bit better who really make our program go. These discussion boards are really the heart and soul of our program. They're places where across rank, across geography, across job description, the LE community comes together to share best practices, discuss opportunities and challenges. And this particular student just raised the bar each and every unit in our organizational leadership class. So it's a real privilege for me to be able to congratulate here on the Facebook Live the supervising agent in charge with the California Department of Alcohol and Beverage Control, Brad Beach. Brad, huge congratulations and thanks for joining us here.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to do it.
Fantastic. So let's start at the beginning here a little bit. Over the course of your career, like many LEPSL students, you've had a wide variety of roles. You've served as a firearms instructor, a background investigator, an FTO and a PIO. You've worked in internal affairs and even were deployed with the Special Operations Unit. With that as the background, can you share with the audience a bit more about your current role as the supervising agent in charge, please?
Yeah, I work for the California Alcohol and Beverage Control. I'm in charge of a district office that oversees about 35 cities. We're a small agency. We have less than 200 sworn, and our agents primarily work undercover. So any alcohol establishment, restaurant, bar, liquor store, we have jurisdiction over. Our primary role is to stop underage alcohol sales, but we also work any crime you can think of that would happen there, such as narcotics, gambling, prostitution, human trafficking. We really get our hands in a lot of different crimes that happen around ABC establishments.
Fantastic. And it's very early in the interview for me to diverge from the questions here, but that's not going to stop me from doing it here, sir. You wrote an incredibly powerful piece that I believe was published in Police One, if I remember, about preventing underage drinking. Do you mind, and I apologize for the riff here, but do you mind sharing with the audience just a little bit about the main arguments in that piece?
I'd be happy to. So going back 24 years in my career, I've always thought about what can we do more on the front end to stop minors from drinking. And there's not a whole lot of outreach in education, K through 12 education. We don't involve the parents as much as I think we should. I created a safe home pledge where students would take home this pledge and it would start the dialogue between the parents and the student, which oftentimes is lacking. I also see a tremendous amount of high quality false identifications that come from China and other countries. They scan in our devices, they look real. It's hard even for an officer to determine that it's fake. I want to work with Google and other search companies to block just you searching, how do I buy a fake ID on the internet? And you'll get 80 million hits in less than a second and be able to go online and buy it. I don't think that's right. I think we can do more as Americans to stop that. And those are the main points of my article.
Fantastic. And for the folks that are interested out there, please give that a quick Google search and seek out the full piece. Going back to your current roles and responsibilities, sir, not only do you have a thriving professional career, you're also dedicated to your community in a few formal ways outside of your day job. You currently serve as the planning commissioner in the city of Cerritos and the president of the ABC Unified School District School Board, presumably in your free time. Can you tell us a little bit more about these roles, please?
Yeah, I actually was a planning commissioner years ago, as well as the Parks and Rec Commission and the Community Safety Committee for the city of Cerritos. I currently am ABC School Board President, and we're a district of 30 schools. We have about 3,000 employees, a $300 million annual budget. And I really got involved because I have two young daughters that are 9 and 11. I say that I'm number one, a softball dad and coach. I put my girls and my family first, but I am extremely busy, especially with this master's program. But I do love giving back to the community. And that's why I really love this course, because I like leadership, being transparent. And those are some of the things I ran on when I ran for school board.
Fantastic. So busy and demanding professional career, busy and demanding community commitments, but being a dad and a softball coach first, I can truly say LEPSL really is a family first program. And, I'm a parent myself. That's something I know our faculty, staff, and it's truly the fabric of our program here. So the obvious question, with a thriving career, with these, community commitments, with a family, why did you choose to add a graduate degree on top of that?
I was extremely fortunate to be selected to Post Command College. I'm the first person from California ABC to go there. I had always wanted to go to the FBI National Academy, but I got approved for this first, and I'm glad I did, because going through that Post Command College, I earned 12 units of master degree coursework credit to USD. I had never planned, frankly, to further my master's degree, but once I was already almost halfway there, I decided it was a no-brainer, something I should do. My mom has a master's degree. My brother does. I just thought I would join the family and then be a good role model for my kids. I also looked at the coursework and saw that it had some really good classes that I thought would make me a better leader, not only at work, but in my political aspirations. And I signed up, and it's been great.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I really have to take a second and really commend Bob Harrison and Sandy Boyd for everything they've done with the Post Command College. They've really created something special. And from an academic perspective, it's as rigorous as any master's degree out there in the country. That's for sure. So in addition to that relationship with Post and the Command College, you're in the LA area. Clearly, there's a lot of institutions to choose from in that region in particular, a high density of colleges and universities. What attracted you to the University of San Diego and our law enforcement leadership program?
Well, I did research of other universities across the country. As you mentioned, we have USC, UCLA, some pretty high-powered schools here. But I really found that the law enforcement and public safety leadership program was a one-of-a-kind in the entire nation. My research showed a lot of chiefs and other people having gone through the program and said good things about it. And, I'll be 48 this year, and I'm going through this program kind of on the back end of my career. But I'll tell you what, it was really valuable to do it now because of all the experience I have. And now the things I learn, I'm doing those things as a school board president and as a captain in my agency. And it makes it much more relatable to what I'm doing now. And I can apply everything I'm learning right away, which I find very valuable.
I'm really happy to hear that. That's really our goal, is to not get too mired in academic theories from 200 years ago, even though they're near and dear to my heart as a career academic, of course. But for this particular program, we want things that are immediately applicable and immediately useful. So I was really, really happy to hear you say that. To kind of build on that theme a little bit here, you earned this recognition in the organizational leadership course, especially with all the insight you've given us about your profession. Were there any substantive moments or exercises or components of that course that stood out to you?
Well, for me, I think the two things I took away the most were the different styles of leadership and how to effectively get things out of your people that maybe have different styles themselves. That was really interesting. And also, just the community outreach. I mean, the times we live in, law enforcement has to think differently, get engaged with the community more. And especially on my school board, we're looking for a new superintendent right now. So I've been able to apply some of these things that I've learned to that and say, well, we need to get a lot of community input. We need to have town halls. And it really has shaped kind of the way I lead as president on the board as well.
Oh, that's really interesting. I've taken a lot of these leadership lessons and especially reach out to key stakeholders and building a constituency. I've taken from the fast moving, demanding pace of law enforcement. I've taken many of those lessons to my very slow paced, very safe academic environment as well. So I think those principles transcend. So Brad, this is my favorite part of the interview. I get to embarrass you a little bit. When your peers cast their vote, they not only vote for you by name, they provide a brief rationale. And going through your discussion board work in this course, you more than tripled each and every requirement. So when it came to required posts or required responses, it was common for you to triple what the course was asking for you. Your peers regularly pointed out that you were extra engaged. You posted early in the week, which from a faculty perspective is really, really appreciated. Your posts were particularly detailed and valuable. One of your supporters said, quote, while his posts were highly substantive in terms of follow-up, It was obvious that you made a concentrated effort to answer members of the cohort. And for that reason, you have my nomination, that Brad set the bar high. What, if any, response do you have to that approach to the discussion board? Why were you so engaged above and beyond? You know, you were in that grade on Wednesday, but here you were on Saturday, still remaining so engaged.
You know what, if I'm being honest with you, Eric, during the first few classes, I wasn't as engaged. And I think several reasons why I was for this one. I decided just that I needed to put more time in and be more engaged. And I really loved the topic. Organizational leadership was right up my alley. I felt I had a lot to offer, so I could ask people additional questions that went maybe even a little bit further past our course outline and pull more from them. And something just kind of triggered in my brain that said, just be more engaged in this class, try to assist people as much as you can. And like you mentioned, I do post early. I try to stay a week ahead of the programming. So if we're in module 1, I get that done right away, and I'm already looking at module 2, and I want to post that as soon as possible just because of my life and how busy it is. I like to stay up on things and stay ahead. I check the discussion boards daily, multiple times a day actually, and I reply as we go. That way it's less work as I'm going along, and I'm not doing 10 or 15 of these at the end. So that was really helpful to me.
I really appreciate that. And actually that same approach is built into our faculty trainings. That consistent and early engagement is the same recipe for success, regardless of which side of the desk that you're on. And I think we see the faculty who are most successful are engaged every day, typically multiple times a day. Speaking of, I'm teaching our orientation course at present. So this is an introductory substantive course and on procedures for the students that'll start LEPSL in the summer. So in addition to starting early and trying to stay a little bit ahead, given the unpredictabilities of life, what other advice would you have for these incoming LEPSL students about how to be successful and how to get the most out of the program?
Well, my advice for them, I obviously have a young family, so I had to coordinate with them when I would be able to study, because if my kids are home, it's not exactly a low sound environment. So, speak with your wife, your significant other, your parents, however you're living, let them know what you're doing. I think that's important, other than, getting your textbooks early, doing the readings, staying on top of things, doing it early. All of that is helpful. But if you have a good support system from home, that's really beneficial. And my wife's been great. My kids are, and I want to thank them as well.
Fantastic. I give you a little preview of some of the remarks I try to share at graduation, which is, quite frankly, and no offense, the students are not our core constituents. It's their families. Where really our goal in LEPSL, if our goal is to support career advancement, that 5 years from now, we want students, and maybe more importantly, their families, to look back and say, wow, that time and money and effort that we invested together, because their sacrifice is quite significant, that you all invest together, that we want to make sure we pay you back threefold, fivefold, tenfold by the time your career is over. So I really appreciate that. We've covered a lot of great ground here, Brad. What did I fail to ask about? Any final thoughts for our LE community or LEPSL folks out there?
The last thing I thought about from that last question was you should definitely notify your agency as well that you're going through the program. They may allow you to do some of this work on duty time and support you also financially or by other means. So definitely let your agency know. And really, it's been an honor to go through this program, Eric. Your staff has been excellent. I haven't had to do anything as far as registering for classes. And I just really appreciate everything that University of San Diego has done, making my journey easier. And I would recommend this program to anyone.
All right. Well, it looks like Erik might be experiencing some technical difficulties, but again, thank you so much for your time today, Brad, and to Dr. Fritsvold. And thank you to all of us, or thank you to everyone who is watching live and everyone who is watching the replay. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us. And with that, we'll see you next time.